All right, welcome back to Mastering Risk. I am your host, Dr. D. Today, we are talking about your 3-day shutdown. What does that likely look like for the average small and medium business? And then we'll wrap it up at the end exactly what you can do specifically, step by step, to be ready. So the next disruption, when it takes your company down, you're ready to respond. And you can protect your revenue. So sit back, grab yourself your favorite beverages, my friends. Let's get at her. It usually starts like every normal day. You get up, you shower, you get ready, you have your morning coffee, you get ready, you go into work. Something's different. Something in the air feels remarkably different. People are standing around. Maybe the power's on, but none of the systems are working. Everything seems to be in a glitch. Is the best way. We're not sure. Everybody's trying to restart. We've unplugged it, plugged it back in. We've restarted. We've rebooted our machinery. Nothing is working. That's generally how a shutdown or a significant incident happens. There isn't usually lead up. There isn't usually notice. You just come in one morning or in the middle of the day, but generally it happens in the overnight hours and the down hours. You'll come in the morning and nothing works. And your employees are standing around, they're looking at each other, they're wondering what happened. They're basically trying to restart their own little worlds. Think about a lot of cultures in small companies are, accounting's trying to get accounting going, IT's trying to get IT going, the warehouse floor is trying to get shipping back up and running. The administration is trying to check the HR platforms. Everybody is working in isolation, not in coordination, of their own little pieces of the pie to try to get things up and running, but nothing seems to be working. It just stopped. And this is generally how most of these things start. You're sitting there, you're staring at what yesterday was a well-oiled, well-run machine with things happening the way they're supposed to. And now you're staring at a bunch of people who are confused and perplexed. Now, this first day, it goes on for a little bit. In the beginning, everybody's just like, oh, it's another glitch. It's another Windows update crack joke for all of you Windows users. Or maybe Microsoft 365 environment is down, or whatever it might be. Fair enough. These things do happen. About noon, you start to get the long looks. You start to think that confusion is starting to reign. That people are now no longer thinking this is a small event. And your inbox is filling with customers who are asking why they can't order from your website. Is your website down? Is there a problem? I can't get a shipping date. I'm trying to book an event in your calendar, but it doesn't seem to be working. Or you get an email saying, I was on your website yesterday and now I can't find it. So these emails are coming in, but each and every one of them asks a question for which you don't know the answer. Because you don't know what is going on. You don't know why it's going on. And therefore you have no idea how to address it. Now, as a small and medium business owner, like myself, as an entrepreneur, you possess a certain level of mild arrogance and a certain level of confidence. And that's earned because you created something out of nowhere. You created a company. You hired a number of people. You're providing great salary and benefits to a team. And you're trying to do something wonderful for the society around you. So you have a bit of overconfidence and arrogance. This generally is going to get in your way. Because you're going to think, I'll just do this, I'll do that, I'll solve it. And as the day wears on, your suppliers start reaching out. You hit a critical mass, usually about 3 p.m. About 4 to 7 hours into the event, when you realize, I can't fix this. Now the dread and uncertainty overcomes. The team is looking to you as the leader to figure out, what do we do next? What's our next tactical bound? What's our next maneuver to get things back up and running? And you haven't figured out why. And unless you have a pretty stalwart outer look, your emotions are going to start playing. Your team is going to start seeing that you yourself, as the founder and the owner of the company, are unaware as to what's going on and what might be the problem. Day 2. You're on the second day of your crash. Now you see the financial bleeding. What happens on day number 2 is you start to see orders being canceled. People who were expecting fulfillment, they're not getting it. They're not getting any response to their emails because you don't have an answer. They start canceling orders. Or your daily revenue targets have been 0 for yesterday, they're 0 today, and you start to see you've lost a good portion of what this week's revenue model it is. And for a lot of small and medium businesses, in today's economy of uncertainty and chaos, 2 days of 0 revenue, but full cost because your employees still need to be paid, your fixed costs for the facility still need to be paid, and you still need to pay your suppliers. So all of your expenses keep going out the door with nothing coming in. What starts to hurt is the immediate financial bleed, which for a lot of companies, they have a couple of days, maybe a week or 2 of cash reserves to float that. You start to face one of the most underrated problems in business, reputational risk. Part of why people buy is they buy because they trust you. They have confidence in you and your ability to execute. You haven't been communicating with the public as to what's going on because you don't know what's going on. You might have sent out some cute little emails about a small glitch. We'll be back up and running in no time. We'll keep you informed. But depending on the business you're in, by day 2, your customers are now no longer have the same level of confidence in it. So now they're going to cancel the orders and go with somebody who is currently delivering. You start to see the financial bleed. You start to see the reputational risk increase. People start to leave comments on your website, comments and reviews about your lack of response, your inability to order, the system's been down for 2 days straight, this is a has-been company, stay away. We've all seen those level of comments, and they start to build on your Trustpilot, on your Google reviews, and all of a sudden now, your new potential future clients, this is what they're seeing. This is what they're seeing on the Google reviews and everywhere else they go, is that you're not a trustworthy company. You're a bit of a shoddy delivery company. Your fulfillment is at least reasonably questionable. And all of this because you've had 2 days of downtime. Unexplained, poorly understood, and improperly managed downtime with poor crisis communication program, and here you are. Now your customers are not only leaving, but the new ones are seeing current right evidence. And trust me, we've done studies on this. We've looked at small and medium businesses undergoing reputational risk, and when people look for reviews, they go to the website, they go to the most recent ones, to find out the most recent truth. And if the most recent ones on almost every site are about your current event and nothing is being addressed, then that's the message they'll take away. Because unless you're a bespoke single service provider in a very niche industry, somebody else is capable of doing what you're doing. And if they're fulfilling right now, then the customer is going to walk to where they're getting fulfilled. And yes, you may be saying to yourself, it's just 2 days. It's no big deal. Answer me this. If I shut down your revenue line for 2 days, if I took away 2 days revenue right now, I know that you as a small and medium business owner are not going to go, yeah, whatever. It's just a glitch. We've got the cash. You don't think that way, because if you did, you would not be in business for very long, and you would not be a successful entrepreneur. And we didn't even start talking about the strategic damage. Remember, you exist in a broader ecosystem. Your business exists within a pool of other businesses in a like-minded industry. And businesses B2B, which is what we do here at Preparedness Labs Incorporated, is something that requires reputation, it requires trust, and it requires competency. And a lot of that can be shaken but not destroyed. If you have great relationships with other people, you are now, as the founder, not spending your time addressing the problem. you're doing relationship management. You're out there in the strategic sphere, talking to your suppliers, talking to your network, talking to your customers, and you are burning all of your time trying to mitigate the strategic and reputational risk damage that's being done to your company because you can't fulfill. My question to you at that point is, who is zero laser focused inward on your business? Because if you're the average North American small and medium business owner who has a $5 million top line or less, likely $1 million or less, according to statistics out of the Small Business Administration, about 90%, 90 to 93%, it varies year to year, of American small businesses have 1 million or less. So only 7 to 10% of American businesses, and in some years as low as 5, earn above $1 million. So if you're the average business, you're earning $1 million or less, and I'm taking away days of revenue, which means you probably don't have a robust staff of 10 or 15 people with a chief operations officer, your chief information officer, and your chief financial officer are all zero laser focused on restarting your business, while you, as the chief executive officer, are out doing the strategic. In a bigger company, that's what would be going on. But in the average small and medium business, you're it. You're it. And maybe you've got a couple of really good, loyal employees who are really trying to figure it out. The reality is the risk was always there. You just never paid attention to it. And this is the uncomfortable truth that we start all of our training off with our clients. You have to accept the brutal truth is that right now, as you're lollygagging and going through a wonderful life, the blissfully unaware, you are assuming a large amount of risk that just hasn't been realized yet. And so when your day comes, and I mean when, because according to the Small Business Administration, 91% of U.S. small businesses have a disruption every quarter. Now, not all disruptions shut down, but if every business is likely to have a disruption at least every 2 quarters, if not every quarter, this disruption is not out of the ordinary. The fact that you were not paying attention to the risk environment in which you operate, the fact that you chose not to adopt a culture of risk and cybersecurity, the fact that you decided to just focus on revenue and focus on operations and not the shield and protection necessary around it to facilitate growth and to protect against the downside. Because you made that choice, you've been living in this risk environment. You've just avoided the significant disruption until it came home. Until today was your day. This was your turn. This was your company's punch upside the head, to use a Mike Tyson reference. And you weren't ready. You could have been. You had a choice to be ready. But for whatever reason, you decided to focus on revenue, focus on operations, not focus on protections, and here you are. So when we think about risk mitigation, risk controls, risk safeguards, they all come by different names. It's all about understanding your business. And what we do here at our top line program that we offer at Preparedness Labs Incorporated is a 1-day build and 12 months of support. We're in a one intensive day, and yes, it's intensive. We sit down with you and we walk you through a 4-block method that absolutely builds a 90-day roadmap, 30 days if you're really accelerated, but a 90-day roadmap to putting that, to locking down your cyber and locking down your supply chain and putting that wall of protection to the greatest extent possible around your business. But what we do is we don't drop you there. We support, because we know we don't want to be, none of us want to deal with the one and done consultant that come in, they write a report, they do a review, they do a tabletop exercise, and then they wave and wish you good luck and say off you go. That's not what we're looking for. That's not what you're looking for, and that's not helpful to you. But we're only really interested in helping businesses who are actively going after it. People who are really interested, who want to protect their revenue, who want to guard against downtime, and who want to grow in uncertain times. So you can mitigate against risk. Now, if we think generally what this company could have done is, in general, And we teach the very specifics in our program. But in general, it's about understanding your business first and foremost. Because what entrepreneurs often do, and I did this as well in our company at Preparedness Labs Incorporated, is I had a core business I started with. When we started the company in July of 2020, we had a core business model. And ever since then, we've been adding nuggets and avenues and lines of business, people, places, things, etc. onto the business. So the business has grown a bit of a tree. But unless you periodically take a step back and look at that tree and examine, how does this all work together? Does it work together? Are there possibilities for synergy and effective and efficiencies within it? Are there single points of failure that I might be overlooking because I didn't really see how part A, that original nugget we started with, is working with the 5th iteration that we've added to the company? Often we as entrepreneurs don't take the time to pause, sit back, reflect and look at this monstrosity, lovely beast that we created, and to look at it and say, now that I'm in year 5, now that I'm in year 2, now that I've added a couple of things to the core business model, is it efficient? Does it make sense? Does it work well together? If I was to start this, what I have now from start, would I do it this way? And if I wouldn't, why wouldn't I? And then what changes might I think are important to do? So understanding your business is the first and always the most important thing in risk management. It's not risk registers. It's not doing mathematical calculations on asset vulnerabilities and risk safeguards to bring it down your risk tolerance. It's always about understanding what your business looks like, what you've created, understanding how your cyber profile exists, understanding what your supply chain looks as it threads through that diagram, and then sitting back and understanding, okay, fair enough, I know it. Now and then looking at what might go wrong. And there's a methodological process that we use, but in general, it's about asking yourself, what does my world look like when I no longer have access to this? What does my world look like when I no longer have access to that? And then you walk yourself through it. Often business continuity experts and consultants, and rightfully so in bigger, larger businesses with response and recovery teams and significant assets to deal with that, they go through this scenario on several times. They rehearse the scenario. They walk their people through a scenario that, if our main supplier disappears tomorrow, there were likely tons of signs along the line, but most of us aren't paying attention to those. So if our primary supplier simply ceases operation tomorrow, what would that look like for our business? How would we respond? How would we react? What's the effect on our bottom line? What's the effect on our processes? Because in the end, you can model in a very short period of time the 3 or 4 most likely and most impactful scenarios that could significantly hurt. And just that alone takes you down. And if you're looking for a starter on it, drop over to our website, www.preparednesslabs.ca. And there's a free small and medium business risk download there. It's free of charge. You download it, and it's about a 7 or 8 page guide that we created here at Preparedness Labs Incorporated for small and medium business owners. It's like, what do I do right now? I don't know where to start. Well, we've got it for you. It's there. It's free of charge. Go get it. If you just take what's on that paper and you implement it in your business, you're going to greatly increase the level of protection. The key to remember in risk management for small and medium business is that you can never get risk to zero. Any charlatan out there that tells you they can prevent something, you need to walk away from people in the risk management field that are using the word prevent. Now, it sneaks out every once in a while. You'll forgive me and you'll forgive others. But people who are consistently telling you that they have the power and the possibility to prevent events from occurring, they're not risk managers. They don't understand risk. And those are people you need to avoid at all costs. The key to success in risk management is understanding this. You will get punched. The data from the small and the Small Business Administration out of the United States is clear. Here in Canada, it's reasonably similar, though we have horrible statistics out of our Canadian government. It's reasonably the same. You will be disrupted. You will get hit with a cyber incident. You will get hit with a supply chain disruption. You will have a reputational problem, and your strategic environment could take a bump in the night. That will happen to you. There's no way to avoid it. So when we know that's coming, you can think about, what does my world look like? How would I operate? What's the big concern? And what is my contingency, redundancy, secondary plan, whatever you want to call it. What I don't want you to think is that your solution is a plan on a bookshelf, right? That you're going to pull down a binder and it says cyber attack binder. So when a cyber attack hits my small business, I'm going to grab the cyber attack binder. I'm going to go to tab 3 because this is a phishing. This is a denial of service. This is a ransomware. Open the tab for ransomware, and here's the things I do. That works in scenario planning, but in real life, that doesn't. Where you are successful, and the key to being successful in risk management is leveraging scenarios to train the team. Your greatest asset in business will always be your people. Now, while AI can help with speed and scale with a lot of background, the end result is your differentiator, what gets you across the finish line ahead of other competitors, is the quality of people you employ. And quality people are built through trust, and they're built through strong relationships. They're built through empowerment. And so when you empower your team, and you empower them with trusted relationships, and you support them throughout and you exercise them, and you listen to them, and you walk them through, when the disruption happens to your business, your team will feel empowered and trusted to act in the business's best interest, to be able to respond and deal with it. So if we wrap this back, to bring it back full circle to that 3-day disruption that I modeled. If you were managing risk, you would have seen signals. If you didn't see signals and it did happen, your people would have known what to do. You would have socialized it. You would have had a strategy. And so the idea of risk management in general is this. It's to make your downtime less and your losses even smaller. So you will have a bit of downtime, but you fall one step, not the whole flight of stairs. And you stand back up with a deep breath, not after you've had your leg broken at the bottom. So the point of risk mitigation, the point of risk management, and the point of building your operational resilience system within your company is just that. It is knowing and understanding and having something in place so you're ready to go. How you get aware and how you knew this day was coming is linked to intelligence. Intelligence and understanding in the world around you is one of the most important things. In the military and my 28 years in the Canadian Army, they teach you something called intelligence preparation of the battle space. And what it is it's understanding the environment in which you intend to operate. So every time the Army intends to operate in an area, it needs to know absolutely everything it can about the area. So if we take that same type of thinking, and the marketers have done it because there is a diagram, Google it, intelligence preparation of the marketplace. It exists on Google. Just go to the image and it'll show you all the details. The point is that if you want to command risk management, you have to be aware of everything that is going on in the strategic environment in which your business operates. And you do that through access to intelligence. Here at Preparedness Labs Incorporated, we have a low monthly subscription program where we provide you a intelligence brief every 72 hours that highlights anywhere from 6 to 10 events that happen in similar businesses to yours around the world in the last 72 hours. What happened to the business, what they did, what their losses were, and what they could have done better, summarized in an executive summary with a couple of key things, do these now in your business, and some recommendations for broader, bigger thinking ideas. We can put that in your inbox 3 times a week with a weekly wrap-up video of me talking like this about what happened in the last week and the big emerging trends and threats within the small business area. And the key to this is why this is successful, is 2-hour live question and answer on Zoom, where you as a small and medium business owner get to hop on and talk about your issues and listen to people from around the country talk about their issues. And we go and we solve problems and we address real life calamities and problems and issues live every month for 2 hours on Zoom. All of that wrapped up for a monthly subscription. Drop over to preparednesslabs.ca, because if you have the intelligence as to what's going on, if you have an operational resilience system in your company, which we help you build, and then we sit with you every quarter to ensure it's well implemented, all of that puts you tactical bounds ahead of your competitor. And in this uncertainty and in this chaos time, you want to arm yourself with the best possible offense, defense, and cyber and supply chain protection shield. So thanks for joining us for this episode at Mastering Risk. Sit down, like, subscribe, all that. Follow the podcast, whatever you will do. Remember, this information we provide here is free of charge. It's our community service. We will continue to do so in this long-form format on YouTube and the accompanying podcast about once a week. We will put these out, and what we're trying to do is provide you with the best possible information to help you facilitate, to help you grow your business, protect your business, because in reality, we're all small and medium business entrepreneurs. We're here to help each other, and we exist to ensure that both you and I are successful in the future. So take care and stay safe.